Greetings, my friend, my special friend, my partner in this business. I welcome you to another study session in the series of teachings on relationship and family life. You know, if you've been following us, you know that this is our core niche and this is our passion. And our prayer is that God will use this series of teachings, to bless families and make us have wonderful relationships in life. God bless you. I appreciate your coming back to class now. I hope you have subscribed. A lot of people keep congratulating me. They appreciate what they are listening to. They feel they are blessed. They confess it that it's helping them so much. They don't miss it. But if all the people who tell me this have subscribed, I wonder if I shouldn't be more than the number we have now. So please do well to subscribe, like the videos, share to others. There are those who don't have opportunity of getting what you're getting. Share to others and then make your comment. It helps us so much. All right, welcome to class again today. So today we're going to be dealing with a very crucial topic. We're dealing with what? Understanding the common struggles of partners of addicted people. Understanding the common struggles of partners of addicted people. My friend, I can tell you, I'll confess to you that actually I set out to look at the ways, practical ways by which, partners of addicted people can help their addicted partners, addicted friends, lovers, husbands, wives, spouses, suitors, without enabling them. But you see, in the course of my study, I discovered that I'll be putting the cart before the horse. Who should come first? And that's looking at the persons themselves who are going through this, terrible experience of being, transitioning from lovers, from partners, husbands or wives to caregivers. It's a very sad experience, but here we are. So today we're going to be looking at understanding the common struggles of partners of addicted people, and that's what we'll be looking at. And the part 2 of this this topic, don't miss it, my dear, for nothing. Don't miss it, because we're going to be dealing with what? Standing strong together, and the ways to practically help, addicted persons without being enabled yourself. Of course, we're going to be looking at what it means by being enabled. All right, so today, as we take off right now, let's pray to start as usual. Father, we thank you. Thank you again for this session. Thank you for this study. Holy Spirit, please place your spirit upon the words, upon this teaching. Place your spirit upon your servant, O God. Quicken my heart, my tongue. Give me utterance, that even the right words will come to be able to reach out to those who are troubled now, one way or the other, as a result of addiction. Thank you for hearing us in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, friends, so we go on right away with understanding the common struggles of partners of addicted people. You please take notes of this. As I set the ball rolling, I want to start by identifying, or maybe just making a description of what we have discussed, or the terms in this topic of today. Understanding the common struggles of partners with, who are identified with addicted persons. Now, if I was talking about caregivers, they still have their issues. But we're dealing with partners, people who are supposed to be partners, people who are supposed to be husbands or wives. That's supposed to be the original role. Or perhaps son or daughter. That's supposed to be the original role. But here we find ourselves dealing with what's, they are transitioning now to a role which is the caregiver's role. It is an issue. It's a serious issue. And we're going to be looking at what they experience, the common struggles, that they encounter. So this is what we're talking about when we're saying, understanding the feelings, the feelings and the struggles and the encounter that these people who have transitioned from partners, from lovers to caregivers. All right, this is what we're looking at today. Also in the topic, I'm going to be dealing with, what we mentioned, the issue of addiction. So I want to look at, addiction in perhaps 3 or more ways today, as much as we can. I do not want these videos to be too long anymore. More so, we are going to be having a part 2, of this study, which is going to deal with the practical ways on how to help addicted persons. But let's look at now the 3 ways that I've been able to identify on addiction. 3 ways. First, I look at the substance addiction. Many times we talk about addiction. This is what many people have in mind. Perhaps you too. That all we know about addiction is about drugs and all of taking of hard drugs and alcoholism and all of those things. Yes, it is. That's a substance. That's the first category of addiction we're going to be looking at today, which is substance addiction. It has to do with what? Taking of all those hard drugs, drugs that may not really be hard drugs per se, but because not everyone's brain, not everyone's mind can carry it, not everyone's system can carry it. The immunity in everybody is not the same. So some drugs that may not even be even on the counter drugs, over the counter drugs, OTDs sometimes even cause issues, for some people. So we're looking at drugs, whether they're hard drugs or whatever. We're looking at alcohols as part of substance addiction. We're looking at tobacco. We're looking at, nicotine. We're looking at even prescription drugs. Yes, prescription drugs like painkiller, analgesics, beside analgesics, sedatives, all of these things, these are all under the first category of addiction that we call substance addiction. All right, so now let me proceed to the next category of addiction that we'll be looking at all today. But the second category is behavioral addiction. Addiction in the kind of behaviors, of people. For instance, you can have gambling. Some people are good at gambling. Some people can do without gambling. Now, I don't mind. I don't even care how many times one has won. But gambling itself, one becomes addicted to it. Every little money a man has, perhaps a woman too, or a boy, out there, he runs to a coupon house, runs to a pool player, he runs to bet this, bet that, and all of that. It's an addiction. If you don't believe me, watch how you feel. You feel like there's an emptiness, something is missing if you have not run there to go and put your money there. Gambling is an addiction, whether it's through pool betting or any other means, on the road there. It's an addiction. And this is the truth. Addicted people may not tell you they are. They just feel one of those lifestyle, one of those habits, but they are addicted in the sense that they hardly can stop. They hardly can withdraw, except by the special deliverance power of God and help of people who are nearby. All right, let's also in terms of behavioral addiction, you have internet or social media, a kind of addiction. You have workaholism, you have pornography, you have even emotional spending. Some people just keep spending. They just like to buy. They just go to buy. They enter into a shop, they buy what they don't even need. They buy the wants, everything they see. Somebody else has it, so why won't I have it? And all of that. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. It's an unfortunate that we don't understand. We do not look at these things as so, because it's not hard drugs we are taking. But when you get into a shop and you just buy what people buy, not because you need it, or you buy what you can afford, not because you need it, then it has become an addiction. Pornography, you just find people who just love it. They just get used to what, all this kind of naked and uncensored pictures of naked people all over online and all of that. Pornography is an addiction. Some people don't do without it. They just don't do without it. And they just feel that when it's one of those things I can stop why haven't you stopped? If you're addicted in any one of these ways I've mentioned, why haven't you stopped so far? Why haven't you stopped? So behavioral addiction, that's what the second category I'm looking at. The first category I looked at, was substance addiction. Now behavioral addiction. And now let me just classify the other, because the issue is not naming this addiction. The issue in this video today is not about naming this addiction. ways or methods. But let me just classify the others into the other unrecognized ways. There are many ways that people are addicted and they do not even know that they are addicted. For instance, there are people, TV shows and series 1, series 2, they know all the names of all the actors and whatever is there, but they can't tell, all the mathematical formulas that they have learned. They can't tell, the 10 points or 10 points or 100 points, factors that help their marriages to go well. They can't tell, all those things. But TV shows, perhaps even the screen time, what they are watching, the movies, with their hands, is addiction. Listen, if you do not have the capacity to say, no, I don't want this, if you don't have the discipline to say, no, I don't want this for now, that's where it becomes an addiction. We all watch movies once in a while. You can ease up your time. You can even reward yourself if you have accomplished a lot. You can reward yourself by watching, your kind of movie and all of that. These things, we will learn a lot from it. But if it has become an addiction, then you just find that even when you are to eat, you are busy there pressing the phone. That's what's called screen time. With the handset. You can have screen time on television and all the rest of the things, So please, we are looking at what these are the things are classifying to other areas of addiction. Sometimes it could be maybe risk-taking. Some people are very adventurous. Now, risk-taking, yes, it's okay. What risk? But we're talking about real adventure, and they don't enjoy it except it's adventurous. They like doing things that just a little bit, before their life is off. And so these are issues. I was watching a playlet, yes, a playlet indeed, where there was this family and the mother, was busy cooking in the kitchen. The children, 3 of them, all of them varying ages, they had just finished eating. They put their plates in the sink, not wash them. They were busy pressing their phone while they headed to the sink to drop the plates they used to eat, each one of them. And then they went back, sat on the table. I think the mother was preparing some sort of dessert or whatever, for more refreshment. And she came, and behold, there were no plates to put the food. No plates were washed because children are busy, pressing their phones, and they are busy, they are, smiling out at the movies they are watching. The plates were not washed. So the mother, to avoid being tagged a bad mother, this kind of, cantankerous mother, this nagging mother, so she just kept quiet and started dishing, the food. I think it was like all this friable. She started putting the fried things on the table. He put the stew on the fried things right on the dining table. And the children were watching. They were looking at themselves. Nobody said anything. Yes, the mother didn't want to talk again. They are getting so used to this sense that they don't do what they ought to do. If you can't tame yourself, you can't discipline yourself to do what you should do. There's a time to watch these things. There's a time, to study. There's a time to pray. There's a time for all kind of things. If you do not regulate yourself, don't have this discipline, then you are addicted. You are involved. To the extent, you are involved. And so we're looking at today is either your substance addiction, where you keep, some children, they smoke all the smokables there. And one thing, when we get to the experiences of caregivers, no longer fathers and mothers, now caregivers, then you'll see that with all those kind of smoking things and all of that, then the children are it's not the original again. They are no longer the same. They are just not the same anymore. Is it the alcoholism? They are no more the same. They think it's not working out for them, but they see their friends doing it, they want to do it. They are not just the same anymore. They are not the same. So now parents now turn to caregivers. Those who should be fathers and mothers now turn to caregivers of children, perhaps even adult children. God will help us. Okay, so God will help us sincerely. These are the 3 categories I just want to limit ourselves to right now. So, okay, let's quickly look at The next thing I want to look at is the experiences. I just mentioned some few of the experiences of these caregivers. Let me call them now caregivers. They're supposed to have been partners. They're supposed to be like a husband or wife, or like a son, or a daughter. But now they are caregivers because addiction has bastardized things. Addiction has wounded somebody. Addiction has destroyed somebody. Addiction has taken somebody off balance, and addiction has has caused a distaste and disruption of everything. It affects even the addicted person as well as those who are giving the care. It brings serious this addiction. It brings serious frustration. Serious frustration to someone. It's a now caregiver looks at himself as what have I come up with now? What have I put myself into? How did I get into this this situation I find myself? Am I succeeding? Sometimes they have blame, give self-blame. Am I really succeeding in fixing the issues? So why is my helping out creating the tendency to support him or for him to continue in this? Have I not? My help is not helping him or her to realize the consequences of the addiction. Oh, this that's what I mean by enabling. I'm going to take that in another video. But these are issues. These are the frustrations. These are the experiences, of caregivers, to addicted persons. God will help you if you find yourself in one of these areas, an addicted person, sometimes even workaholism. Workaholism can be an addiction. And we melancholists, many times we are involved in it. It's an addiction too. If the food is ready, you're not, the food is not, no. You're at work, in the office at work. We finish work in the office and bring some home and all of that. Oh, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. This is what we're saying. We need to do something to this situation because it's affecting not just you, who is the workaholic, it's affecting somebody else, who should enjoy the time. And it should be a real prime time, a real shared time, a time of joy. But no, it's job. It's job. That's the thing. God help you. Okay, let's look at some of the things, the experiences that these caregivers, now turned caregivers experience. Emotionally they constantly worry. Point number one, there's this emotional trauma. They constantly worry. They feel the guilt, of finding themselves where they are. Sometimes they don't even think they're helping enough. They feel their efforts are not sufficient. They fear. Maybe you don't know what the situation in their partner, their loved one, is going to lead to. It's going to lead to chronic stress or anxiety or depression, all that kind of different moods and all of that. Even the people themselves, I would say they are in trouble. The caregiver. Listen, let me tell you something. Your addiction is putting somebody else in trouble. Somebody who naturally should be a partner, should be a friend, should be a lover, should be one of a suitor, today has turned to what? A caregiver to an addicted person. And you are the addicted person. So why all of this? So why all of this? If you're a man of yourself, why have you not disciplined yourself to tame yourself from certain things that is becoming like an addiction? If you're a woman of yourself, why are you addicted to eating, sometimes eating and food addiction? Always on the eating side. Or anything goes. On the street, you throw something in the mouth. In the house, everywhere. On the street, even in the bus, you are busy eating. Are you sure it's not an addiction? Can you tame yourself and say no to it? If you can, then it's no longer an addiction. But even if it was, and you can help yourself, it means yours hasn't advanced so seriously. There's emotional trauma for those who care for you. There's emotional pains. They have, what I call depression. What's depression? They worry about the experience, that has happened in the past. If you are the type that experiences crisis from time to time and all of that, can you take instance, an alcoholic, a man who goes drinks and he comes back and beats up his wife and injures or maybe breaks a television and causes problem at home and all of that, injures everybody at home. When let's say the spirit is not there, it's not now, he has advanced a little bit today in the morning hours, after that, waiting in the evening time. What do you think the emotional state of those who think back to what the experience was last time this man drank. The last time he went drink and came back home drunk. So there's depression. Depression is the worry that you have over past events, past things that have happened, past negative experiences. That's depression. Some have not depression, they have what I call stress. Stress is what? The worry that you experience because of your present situation, present condition, the present condition. That's what stress is all about. And some have anxiety. What's anxiety? Anxiety is the negative emotion, the worry that you have about the future. When there's an addicted person, all three are complete: depression, stress, and anxiety. You don't think, what's going to be the future of this person? Stop drinking, he will not hear. Stop, going one woman or the other, he will not listen. You begin to wonder what the future is. That's anxiety comes in. There's a mood swing, for the caregiver because of the ups and downs, of the person himself that is addicted. So just as the person that's addicted is in trouble, the caregiver is equally in trouble. This is just the point, and that's why this video is on. As you're listening to me now, do something about yourself. Tame your addiction. Break it. It's causing confusion in your family. It's creating issues. We're going to get to the financial aspect of the defects in this addiction. But let's look at this, what we are saying now. That the person was supposed to be a compassionate person now suddenly turns frustrated. He's a frustrated person now because honestly, this is not what he or she planned for. This is not what was bargained for. And your addiction has brought your partner to be. Maybe you're just yet to marry. You're yet to marry. Everything you walk up to the shop there, girl, you want to buy. You see everything. Anything you see anybody wear out there, you call your man. Anything whatsoever, just because you think he has the resources. You are suffering from addiction, and just before it is too late, you might be jilted. Your man will jilt you. If this is the early morning, what comes in the afternoon? You're not yet married. Every little thing that you see somebody else use, you want somebody else use, you want it. Just because you think the man can. It's an addiction, and you can be jilted for this. That's what I'm saying. It's pitiable. It's pitiable. I feel the pain in my spirit that everybody suffers when there's an addicted person. And you will notice in the topic here, I didn't just say addicted person, addicted partner. If you're just addicted person there, maybe you just sympathize and walk away. But in a partner, there needs to be an empathy beyond sympathy. That's where everybody suffers. That's what the experience everybody goes through. Man, can I tell you that every time you come home drunk, everybody's tense up. Everybody tensed up because they don't know what happens next. Depression, thinking of what happened last. Stress, thinking of what's happening now, how to care for you now under this state. And then anxiety over what your future is if you continue like this. Are you likely to come back home every day? If you continue getting drunk and falling into gutter, this kind of habit, don't get back home from work. You just go and take a sip somewhere there. The things you can afford in your home, it has become an addiction that you must take it out there. Well, you have your life to live, but we are sharing in the suffering that you're, misusing your life or abusing the use of your life. We are sharing in it. Every one of us is in it. The pain I have in my soul now is from practical experience. All right, let's look at, so we say also that some of the experiences that the caregiver is the tendency to feel what? That is enabling the addicted person. What does that mean? It means that when he feels, I'm taking care of this addicted person, the issue is this: perhaps if I'm not caring this much, maybe he will change his mind. Maybe he will not get drunk. Maybe he will not be beating his wife, laying hand on his wife anytime, maybe there's a way. I'm supporting. Somebody beats his wife, is locked up. His friend who is in the military will come and say, let him go. Are you not aiding and abetting? That's what we call enabling. So the person giving care sometimes feels enabling the person, not letting the person to feel the full weight of the consequences of the addiction. When the person who is addicted is allowed to feel the full weight of the consequences of the addiction, then there's no enabling. But do you know what we're talking about? We're talking about a partner. What woman would allow her husband to fall into the gutter and sleep there because he wants him to experience the full weight of the consequences? No. She will rush in, beg people, help me bring him out. And that's what we're saying. Your woman, your partner, your caregiver is now looking at you as if it's enabling you, because they're caring for you. Every time you get drunk and come home, they take care of you this way, that way. If feeling you is enabling you, you are shielding you. That's the right word. It's shielding you from understanding or from knowing the right consequences, of this your addiction. It's paining somebody else. It's wounding other people around. That's the point number 2. The tendency to feel there's an enablement. They're enabling your partner. That's what the caregivers feel. They feel they're enabling you. Maybe if I don't care this month, maybe he will learn or she will learn her lessons. God will help you. Let's quickly rush point number 3. I think I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to quickly just rush it. Okay. Point number 3. There's a mental problem. There's a mental challenge. Mental challenge when there's an addiction. A mental challenge. One is obsessed. You just find that this kind of a behavior that is, that is up and down behavior, and the person giving the care will wondering, where is this person now? I hope he's not where they're drinking. I hope nobody will poison his drink. Is he safe where he is? Is he, what will happen? All this kind of tension is there. Tension is there. There's a mental stress, mental torture, over the people who caregive you. The caregivers of an addicted person feel this mental torture, this mental suffering is there. They are obsessed with how is he, how is she now. Not in my presence now. Perhaps went to work, perhaps in the farm is there, and how is she doing? I hope he's fine, and those kind of situations. And you know what that means? That means the caregiver shifts his or her focus, away from his personal goals, from his hobbies and his self-development. He shifts them all on to managing you, the addicted. It down tools on everything that has to do with his person or her person, and it's concentrating on you. That's the negative side. That's the terrible. Everything is down. Everything is down just because he has to manage you in your affliction. That's part of the mental, torture that caregivers, to addicted partners go through. God will help you, so that at least you will come to your senses and say, no, 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 no. I'm going to change from this. Okay, let me rush. Point number 4. Point number 4, there's a physical situation. There's a physical stress that the caregiver gives on. You know what? These people make a sacrifice of their sleep. They make a sacrifice of their sleep. Sometimes they don't eat, and they don't rest enough, more especially when that crisis time has come. And it's a crisis period. It's a crisis period. They suffer from what? Insomnia, the sleepless. They don't sleep because they have to sacrifice their attention, to care for you. They don't sleep, they don't even eat well. Sometimes they don't eat well. All of this is because of the addiction. If you are not addicted for them to care for, everyone will be at ease. They will enjoy themselves and all of that. And this stress is sometimes progresses to fatigue or chronic illnesses. Fatigue or chronic illnesses can result, and lack of sleep, of course, is going to be weakened immunity. Therefore, you expect any slight attack of sickness or disease condition, it becomes a sickness. When a disease condition, meets with this kind of weakened immunity, it progresses to sickness. All because a caregiver is giving attention to you, who is an addicted person. I pray, you who is watching me, that you're not one of them, because it's painful. I just pray you are not one of them. And if you are, the essence of this is not, to castigate or undermine your person, but it's still to project to you that, listen, what you think you are enjoying is bringing torture to some people. All right, let's look at point number 3. Point number 2, relationally, this addiction affects, relationship. Can you imagine that in the person who is taking care of you now, doesn't have the boldness again to appear before his friends. Not even family members. If you look at the woman whose husband used to get drunk and fall on the streets. That's the woman there. She withdraws from friends, from family members. In fact, she experiences shame. Shame that is not shouldn't be hers. Because she is the partner to the addicted person, and the addicted person naturally would not be normal. It will not be normal. And it's not supernormal, it's subnormal. There's abnormal, supernormal when you're doing a genius, doing something exploit. But there's abnormal, subnormal when you are on the negative side, doing something terrible. So the caregiver of an addicted person knows that the addicted person is abnormal, subnormal. And therefore, what happens all the time? He has to give all the time. Perhaps to shield him from shame out there and all of that. All her energy is consumed, or his energy is consumed in building relationship. The relationship doesn't work. The dynamics, relationship dynamics do not work. They shift, they shift in favor of caring, centering the attention on caring, for the addicted person. And they can tell you, they just can't tell you. And perhaps you're not punishing your spouse or your spouse to be in a way, in this way. Relationship is not normal. It's not normal anymore. There's no shared joy. There's no normal, connection anymore. I'm talking about how it affects relationships. That's just the point. No shared joy and all of that. And you know something, that your spouse or spouse to be, because of your addiction, is now experiencing, loneliness, or perhaps I should say isolation. People around may isolate him or her, and he becomes lonely. You are not there for the shared joy, for the shared connection as a family, as a spouse or spouse to be. You are not there because your addiction has taken you off. And then the neighbors and friends and family members that should be around, at least, to compensate, they are not there because of what? This kind of the experience that he's having. She withdraws. It causes, being withdrawn. God will help you, to transform. Let's look at point number 6. Point number 6, financially. A lot is at stake maintaining an addicted person. A lot is at stake maintaining an addicted person. Because to maintain an addicted person, you have to pay debts. Somebody drinks and drinks and drinks to the point of drinking on credit. Madam, please book my name down there, I will pay you. And then somebody else is going to be the one to pay. The caregiver is the one to carry this brunt. So there's payment of debt, settlement of debt, they cover debt, they pay fines, or all kind of bailout, fund bailouts. Sometimes all of these things drain deposits, drain the savings, drain the deposits of your caregiver. And interestingly, the person doing all this because of you, neglects his own financial stability. He neglects his own financial position. His needs are not met because his money is used, to sponsor, your addiction. These are the negative consequences. And I know things will change for the better as you listen. God bless you. Let me quickly rush to point number 7. There's a spiritual impact of addiction to this. You know what that means? That means that somehow, even the person who is caring for you has lost his identity. He's no longer looked at as a partner. He's now either a rescuer. Or put it the other way, it's a caregiver. It's a caregiver. Can you imagine that? Can you just imagine that? Where is this emotional stability for those who are faith-based? Where is the emotional stability to pray? When you're patient, put it that way, the addicted person doesn't seem to show too much of improvement. And we're going to be dealing with how to take care of the issue of addiction, because not basically about prayer. Habit change is important in taking care of addiction. Being man enough or woman enough to be disciplined can break addiction, the habit of addiction. It's not just about prayers. But where is even if it's a praying partner, where is the emotional strength to pray? Spiritually, is out because he's drained, and he's lost sight of himself as a faithful person to God because he's been praying, and behold, the addicted person is still, in his addiction. But it's not basically his fault or her fault. Somebody needs to sit up, and it's the addicted person. God bless you. God bless you sincerely. So don't let your caregiver, now a caregiver, lose his kind of personal values and beliefs, just because, it's all the attempt and effort is to keep you afloat, the addicted person. No, he loses his values and all of that. Please, let's make amends. God will help you, strengthen you as you decide to make amends. All right, let's look at point number 8. Point number 8. Do you know that boundaries and self-worth are affected? The caregiver now have low esteem. We're not talking about you. To you, you are enjoying. You think it's fine. It's okay. That's the man for you. That's the life for you, and all of that. But can I tell you something? That the self-worth, the self-esteem of those who take care of you, those who care for you, their esteem has plummeted so low right now, so low. You know why? Because they have a lot to contend with. They tolerate abuse. They are being manipulated, and all kind of insult in the society against them. So their self-worth, their self-esteem is even low, and all of that. There are no more boundaries. They just feel anything can happen, anything goes. Some of them will have to tell lies to get drugs for you, because you need those drugs at the time they don't have money. And they won't want to go out there saying, my husband is drunk again, or this or that, or the other one has happened again. Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm sure you're feeling the way I'm feeling. So your addiction is affecting what? The self-worth, and they've said the boundaries, of your partner. This is how it goes. If a man wouldn't go back home, to his wife, he has branched here to this place after work hours. You must see somebody out there, somebody in it. Somebody is suffering it. Somebody is suffering it. The mother of your own children is experiencing, some sort of burnout and low esteem. Please, adjust for the sake of what? Everyone. For the sake of everyone. You make her have a feeling. I've been trying. Am I succeeding? Can I really fix this? If I'm not being able to fix it, am I incapacitated? What's the problem? Can I save my husband or my wife or my spouse? Can I save my partner? What can I do? This kind of feeling and all of that, and sometimes self-blame. She blames herself, or he blames himself. So why? How come? A woman is always saying, anytime you get to the market, you are fighting. The man will always come settling this, settling that. You don't have self-control. The essence of this video is whatever that thing that you keep seeing yourself repeatedly doing that you're not able to break away from. Doesn't matter, it may not be drugs, it's an addiction. And you know something? It is so terrible that at the end of the day, the man will have the self-blame. Why did I even marry this kind of a woman? I saw it happen when she was quarreling with everybody before marriage. I plunged myself into it. That's self-blame. That's what has happened. God will help you so that this addiction will stop. You will take action by the help of God. You break this habit of addiction, and everybody will be the better for it. Let's look at point number 9 quickly. Maybe I just rushed now. Let me just end somewhere now. Point number 9. Unfortunately, because of the lack of standard facilities, care group facilities, even clinics, hospitals, and all of that, because of the lack of these facilities, you see that things continue, and therefore the caregiver continues to suffer it. Perhaps in places where these things are there are enough professional counselors in the area, that area of addiction or something. It may not suffer that much, but these are the things they go through in let's say third world. Third world that is third world. God help you. God help you for all this tension your addiction is creating, to your lovers, to your partners. God will help you. Point number 10. There's broken trust. Your partner is experiencing broken trust. There's broken trust. Why broken trust? Because addiction, results in what? A secret lifestyle. You tell lies, and betrayal is linked to addiction is terrible. You betray your partner. It's terrible. That's what they experience. They experience betrayal. I'm here. Meanwhile, you are there. How can you, for God's sake, why won't if you can't concentrate on one woman, you will have difficulty, concentrating on even 30 or 40. Biblical Solomon married, how many? He married 300 wives and 700 concubines. Are you with me? And each one came with their own idol from their own place. And that's why Solomon's heart was turned upside down at the point. God helped him. May that same God help you. That's what we are saying. And there's a broken trust. There's a broken trust resulting from the addiction, which alters your proper lifestyle. You don't tell lies before. But see, this kind of thing, going there, something is wrong somewhere. That's what we are saying. This secret lifestyle, it is an offshoot of an addiction somewhere. God will help you. Second to the last quickly. Or let me just take the last now because of let me take the last. There's fear of personal what? Safety. The caregiver himself is even afraid. You don't pick something and injure somebody when you're drunk or when you're not in a state of mind. You've taken some drugs, hard drugs, and you don't know. Here you are. He's afraid. Now, let me even say to you that even if you become passive, maybe after taking those things, you are high, you don't even speak at all, you are quiet. Passivity is even more difficult than aggressiveness. Handling passivity is even more difficult than handling aggression. Therefore, in any way, it's still not good enough. My friend, oh my God, I pray for you. I pray for you right now that God will help you because your partner is living in fear of his person, personal fear, of his safety, of her safety. Your spouse is not sure that when you are drunk and then you come preparing something to eat, that the food is safe. Your spouse is not sure, your would-be spouse is not sure, that you can stay, you can be a woman, be in the home and be satisfied with him alone if you are addicted to sex here and there. There is sex addiction. People must want to sleep with somebody. You just must want to sleep with somebody. Otherwise, if you feel this, God will help you. I pray that as you watch this, may the Almighty give you grace. May He give you strength. All it takes, for you to excel in your life by brace up and break this habit of addiction. God will give you the grace. Receive the grace. I pray for you to overcome it. If there are spiritual powers and hands behind your addiction, if there are influences that want you to, destroy your life, destroy your relationship, destroy your spouse and your family, through addiction, I pray the power of God breaking those yokes right now. Every spiritual hand working against it, let it be broken, destroyed by the power in the name of Jesus. May God deliver you. Friend, I love you. The essence of this is not because I want to castigate you. It's love for you so that it will be a win-win situation for you, for your spouse, for your family, and for us who are in the society. God bless you. Thank you for listening. Like, share extensively. I'm going to come back in part 2 of these. We're going to be dealing with what? How to support, the practical ways to support it, to help an addicted partner. Not necessarily, person, partner. We're going to be dealing with practical ways next video. Watch out for the next video. God bless you.